Let's talk about one of the most high-stakes technological shifts happening right now. We're bringing AI into our nation's critical infrastructure. You know, the power grids, our water supplies, the stuff we all depend on. Now, AI promises this huge leap forward in efficiency and resilience. But, and this is a big but, with that promise comes a whole new and frankly a more dangerous class of risk.
And that brings us to the fundamental question that every single leader in this space needs to be asking. Are you ready? Because your current safety playbooks, they were designed for a totally different world. As AI gets embedded deeper and deeper into your operations, the real question is your strategy evolving fast enough to keep up?
To even begin to answer that, we first have to get our heads around this new risk landscape. See, AI doesn't just add a few new risks to the list, it fundamentally changes the nature of risk itself. And that means our old frameworks, well, they're just not going to cut it anymore.
Think about it. For decades, we've gotten really good at managing predictable failures. You know, a valve breaks, a server goes down. We have a procedure for that. But AI, it introduces these complex, almost living behaviors that we can't always predict. It's operating in dynamic, messy, real-world environments where, and this is key, sophisticated attackers can launch adversarial attacks. This creates a huge gap that our established IT and OT protocols were just never built to handle. So, okay, if the old way is broken, what's the path forward? Well, the good news is there is a solution. It's a national framework designed from the ground up to build trust in these incredibly complex AI systems.
And here it is. It's the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, or RMF. And specifically, this is the profile for critical infrastructure. You should think of this as the new playbook, designed specifically for operators like you. Its entire reason for being is to give you a clear, repeatable process for managing AI risks so you can be sure your systems are genuinely worthy of trust.
The framework itself is built on a really straightforward four-step life cycle: govern, map, measure, and manage. It all starts at the top, with establishing the right culture of risk management. From there, you map out your specific risks in your context. You measure and track them, and then you actively manage them. It's not a one-and-done checklist. It's a continuous loop, designed to let you get all the benefits of AI safely.
Okay, so that's the high-level view. Now let's get into the really important stuff, the bedrock principles. These are the non-negotiables, the things you absolutely have to get right to ensure operational safety when AI is in the mix.
And number one, the most critical point is this: AI systems cannot be allowed to fail catastrophically. The framework mandates what's called graceful degradation. What that means is when an AI hits a problem it can't solve, it fails predictably and safely. It hands off control to a simple, reliable, deterministic system. Think of it like a safety net, while it immediately alerts a human supervisor to step in. No more sudden black box failures.
This leads right into the next principle, meaningful human oversight. And I want to stress the word meaningful. This isn't just about having a person in the loop watching a screen. It's about empowering that person with real transparency. Any AI system giving recommendations has to provide a traceable, auditable reason why. We're using things like AI bills of materials, basically an ingredients list for your AI, so the human operator is always truly in control.
And of course, we have to talk about security. You can't trust the output from an AI if its input can be messed with. The framework is really clear on this. Your AI monitoring systems have to be hardened against adversarial attacks. That means constantly checking if the data coming in is what you expect, if it's within a verified valid range, because you can bet an adversary will be looking for those blind spots. This has to be a top priority at every single stage.
And all of this really boils down to one thing. It's not good enough for an AI system to work well most of the time. In critical infrastructure, that's a recipe for disaster. We need, as the framework puts it, verifiable performance guarantees. We need actual proof that the system will do what it's supposed to do, especially when the pressure is on.
So how do we get that proof? That's where TEVV comes in. It stands for testing, evaluation, validation, and verification. And for critical infrastructure, this is not a best practice. It is a core, non-negotiable requirement. Before any AI system gets anywhere near a high-stakes environment, it has to go through this incredibly rigorous process to prove it's safe, reliable, and secure. There are simply no shortcuts.
Now, all these technical principles are absolutely essential, but they don't work in a vacuum. They have to be backed up by a really strong governance structure that aligns your internal policies with this new operational reality.
One of the biggest challenges in governance, as you probably know, is bridging that old divide between information technology, IT, and operational technology, OT. Your IT teams and your OT engineers, they often speak different languages, right? They have different priorities. The NIST profile tackles this head-on by helping you create a common vocabulary and shared expectations for what safety and reliability actually mean, breaking down those silos so people can finally work together.
And here's where it gets really powerful. This framework lets you map your organization's specific internal risks directly to these national standards. Worried about your industrial control systems? The framework points you directly to demanding, predictable, fail-safe behavior. Struggling with integrating AI into legacy systems? It gives you a guide for managing that risk. Trying to secure your supply chain? It gives you a clear way to demand better visibility from your vendors. It's a practical translation from policy to practice.
Okay, so we've covered the risks, we've walked through the framework, and we've hit the core principles. So let's bring it all together and talk about the path forward for you and your organization. As a leader, your job is to set the strategy. And here are 3 concrete things you can do. First, champion a unified culture of risk management. Be the one who finally breaks down the walls between IT, OT, and your new AI teams. Second, make rigorous TEVV a non-negotiable mandate for any and all new AI systems. No exceptions. And third, use this NIST profile as your guide for all governance and procurement. Make it the standard. This is how you align your entire organization around safety and trust.
And so we end right where we began. The systems you manage are the absolute backbone of our society. They are critical. As you bring AI into that world, your job is to make sure those systems aren't just smarter, but that they are fundamentally trustworthy. The framework is here. The path is clear. The only question left is, how will you lead the way?